Hello, and I will speak in English, not in Russian. And maybe it will be a little bit different from what you're expecting, but I think you will enjoy because the problems which we will talk about, you know, all of you, and we will see what will happen. So the first thing, I would like to introduce you to the concept of innovation, because we are now, it's a very popular word now, innovation. There is two things, modernization and innovation. If you look at modernization, it's always increasing of complexity. And if I will show you this little thing, when I was a kid, I wanted to have one of this. And then things become more complex and even more complex. And if I will ask you what is this, or what this is, maybe you will think about it. But then things become even more complex. And that's all our life, basically. We are not anymore realizing what is this. Maybe it's a radio, maybe it's a flash card, or whatever. So if you look at the situation, the more complex things or processes are, the less effective they are. So the time is to make things simple. Basically, if we look at this situation, this is the control of complexity. And if we can control it, the complexity, then we are winners. And how we can see this, for example, for our little knife, the control of complexity of the size of the hand. The bigger, if the thing bigger than the hand, it's not knife anymore. So if you look at the modern airplane, it's about 700 kilometers of wiring inside the airplane. So it's like from Moscow to St. Petersburg distance. And in order to certify the A380 airplane, it was 6 years try to understand where the wires are. In the Boeing, it's about 3.5 million certified parts. This is very complex objects. This is the turn on the right in Tokyo. Yeah, and this is our modern cities. And you know how difficult now to orient yourself in the city. If you look on Milan from the bird view, it's a very complicated city. If you go further, this what is the morning situation. Yeah, it's it's a traffic, and we all in it. So we go in more and more complex. This is the shopping mall, and in order to find the trolley, you have to look long time, find €1, and all these kind of problems. So basically, it's the world becoming very complex. So what we can do, and our exit of it, and our solution is innovation. And if you look at this simple thing here, if we go progress, 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 and one moment when we control the complexity and not going even more complex, we can jump on another physical systems. For example, if you look at this thing, guess what is it? You think it's a sewing machine. Yeah, maybe, maybe not, but it's the very first sewing machine from Singer. This is modernization of this machine. It's about 50 years between first and second one. This is the modernization, but this is already not very good because it's electricity one. If I go back, this one works on the bread and the meat. If I eat, I can turn. You know, so if this thing, if it, no electricity, no work, sorry. This is super complex sewing machine with a satellite control, with a worm in the seat, with the music and everything in it. But maybe it's not necessary anymore because nobody using it anymore. So basically, this is too complex. But this is innovation. So if the thimble has nano surface, super complex and very, very expensive thimble, it's not at all as a very first sewing machine. Basically, this is the jump. This is 100 years of progress, of modernization, and we have about 20% of effectiveness in the 100 years of time. So we're driving cars now, and we think we are cool, but maybe not. Maybe not. So innovation is this. This horse may be much more expensive than 100 of these tractors, because it's very race horse. but tractors are more effective, sorry. This is 100 years of modernization and about 20% of effectiveness. The color is the same, but all the rest, it's also the same. No difference. So if you look at the first Ford car, Ford T car, the very old one, 100 years ago, it's about exactly the same as a Bentley now. It's a 4 wheels, it's a steering wheel, we are sitting on the right or on the left, depends on the country, but nothing changed. We can talk about innovations as much as we want, but countries are investing different money in it. And if you look at the national product, this is the size of national product. This is R&D investments. Well, about design I'm not talking because different countries having different things. But if we compare, for example, America and Russia, it's a very different investments in innovation. So our choice in Russia, because I'm from there, and our choice is only innovation. We cannot modernize things because America and Japan and France are going very fast forward. We have to catch up. So our choice is between progress or innovation. We chose innovation. I will go quick here, it's not so important, blah, blah, blah. Very quick from our background. I used to work as a car designer, and maybe some of the cars here you will recognize. It was a team which we were working together. And before I was working at Citroën, and after, as we all grow, we go on the bigger companies. And I went to Toyota, doing Lexuses, Toyotas, and blah, 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 and different cars, so many. And you can do cars for all your life, doing 20, 40, 100 cars, and that's all cars we were participated in. I will go very quick. And in the end of the day, I ask myself, what am I doing? I'm doing another car, another car, another car. Finally, we end up with a choice. I can do another 100 cars, or I can do something different for the human being. And there we go to the question of happiness. For example, you are working every day on the company, you go in there and you say like, I'm doing car, it's cool, it's really a dream, I'm car designer, really like happy job. But in the end of the day, you say like, am I happy? And I say, maybe not anymore, because I'm doing another car. And you may be doing another shoe, or I don't know, something exactly the same what yesterday. So for myself, I choose to go innovation way. And we started to work with aerospace industry. These things are very simple, and these things are kind of also modernization way. It's very quick. This is the job we were doing. Helicopters, airplanes, but they are always the same. And this is some kind of like blah, blah, blah. This is interesting thing. We started to think about the future, and in Russia, we have a very serious situation with the Arctic North Sea. And very soon, when the ice will melt, we will have a highway between North Europe and North America. This highway is very cool because it's about 7,000 nautic miles shorter than Suez Channel way and has no pirates, which is very important for modern world. So, but at the same time, we realized that in this area, we have no infrastructure at all. So we need a very heavy helicopters who can carry huge carriages of the weight to support this infrastructure. This is interesting development of the idea how to make this area is very interesting because, for example, if you look at any kind of flying machines, you have to understand it should be very light. Otherwise, we have no chance to lift it up. So to make things lighter than it is now, we are going into the composite materials with a helium filling inside. So you go helium inside instead of oxygen, and then the wings and anything which machine made of, it's becoming super light, and then you will have smaller engines and maybe electrical engines, which is very important for our world at the moment. We also worked on a very interesting project because there are two countries which are very powerful in the space research. It's America and Russia. And in Russia, we were always flying with very old machines. Now we are going next generation spacecraft. We were working on it. And that's very quick. It's just to show how the job was done. And we were doing interior of next spacecraft. This is the machine. It's a huge one. Sorry, maybe it's not about happiness, but it's about necessity. And it's the next 50 years of space research. And this is the next project we are working on. This is the spacecrafts which are going into the space without launch pads, which is, you don't have to start from the point, which is vulnerable. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. This is cool. This is the Mars station. We are thinking now about our flight to mission Mars. And we are working on interior of the Mars space station. And this is our project at the moment. But the very cool project which I want to tell you, and I will be very quick, I will try to, because since 120 years, we are using cars. And we were so happy when we went from horses to cars, and it happened in 10 years. When the Daimler and I don't remember the guy who created the engine, they made a new vehicle which moves without horse, people accepted it. And it was in something about like 10, 20 years, we forgot about horses. Try to find a magazine now about horses, maybe impossible. And we were using horse as a moving device for 100,000 years. So we get rid of horses very quick. Now is the next step, and this is the question of how the world changing. If you look at the navigation, it was like this. It was analog navigation. Now we go in the digital. And some girl telling you turn on the right or turn on the left, and I don't care who is the girl, and I don't care how it's made of, what is made of. So it's just comfortable, it's cool. We go into the network systems. And the same thing happened with the telephone. 20 years ago, nobody even imagined that we will call from here to New York so easily, and we have also a TV set inside, and we have a radio, and we have anything what you imagine here. And this is impossible to think. So now we are there, and we don't imagine how we were not using it before. How happened? Also internet, very cool thing, which we cannot live without at the moment. But in the transportation, we are still sticked to the roads. And the roads are very simple. You have Milano-Como, and that's a problem. Because everybody stands in Milano-Como. And if you want to say off-road, impossible. Because there is a building, there is a factory, there is a... I will show you what is it in Russia. Maybe you will be enjoying. So basically, we are fixed to the wire of the road. And where the road is, you can go. There is no road, no go. At the same time, we have a three-dimensional transportation, but it's super complicated. If you go to the airport, you have to spend about 4 hours driving there, again, Milano, Como, and, and after you have to undress, dress, undress, especially in America, and I don't know why. In Russia, in 2008, before the crisis, we spent about $70 billion on the cars. That's a huge amount of money. It's huge. And at the same time, we have situation in Siberia, something like this, and we call it roads. Maybe not. Maybe off-road even doesn't work. So on the north of our country, we have this type of situation. Maybe it's not like in Italy or in Germany, which is infrastructural country, small countries, but we are huge, and we have such waste territories, impossible. At the same time, in the city, this is Moscow, by the way, and this is somewhere next to New York. It's a common situation in the world. We are stuck in the traffic jam, basically. grass cutting machine. You take grass cutting machine and making this. That's how people decide to go 3D personally. And this is cool. I think it's very cool. But this is grass cutting machine. In the morning we do this. Very cheap. And I believe you can fly over the river. And if you can fly over the river, it means you don't need a bridge and road. This is cool. Certain years in America, they were doing experiments about it, and super expensive machines. So what we are doing now, after so many years of car design, I say no cars anymore. Forget it. Stupid. We are stuck with the cars. So we are working on a very strange object, which looks like airplane, but it's not. And this is a car, basically. This is the personal vehicle for 4 people with the price of the car. Basically, you have all-in-one. It's a speed and range of the good, expensive airplane. You have vertical takeoff and landing from the point, which is very good. You have a price and comfort of the car, and you have multi-fuel engine. You can put anything which burns inside for the moment. But next step, it will be hybrid and electrical. It will be assembled in an assembly line. The price will be about this. For the moment, it's expensive, but if you remember the first mobile phones, they were also big and expensive, and it was only 10 years ago. Now you can get it for free because it's necessity, and it's inevitable. And this one is inevitable too. Maybe we will be not the first ones because everybody working on it now, but we already found the engine for it, and this engine is a diesel. So basically, on every fuel station in the world, you can fill it up. The cool thing about it, it's very quick. It's about 500 kilometers an hour. That's about 8 kilometers height, the ceiling. It's about 2,000 kilometers range. You can fly really far away. And it's about 5 people and 300 kilos you take with you, like a normal car. So this is how it looks like. For the moment, it's the very first mobile phone. Sorry, it's the very first black one, heavy. So don't worry. In 10 years, it will be very, very different. It's a robot. It's a drone. You don't need to really drive it. It will be driven by different sources. You have a safety and security, of course, because we're always afraid what will happen with us. So we are very, very conscious. You can get personal credit in the bank. Go and buy just like a car. It's a multi-weather system. And of course, you need infrastructure for that. The very first thing to do is to make it unmanned. So it's a robot. You don't have to control it. At the same time, if you look at these kids, they're not going to the school. They're really naughty guys, but at the same time, if you give them a profession of the pilot, maybe this is the very interesting profession, and this guy can earn more than his father, who works as a computer engineer. But this is the most interesting thing. If you look at these things, this is amazing, how the birds and how the fish can do that. I always asking myself how the fish doesn't, collapse in a 3D environment, how the birds don't collapse in 3D environment. And the bottom thing here, it's next to Nice, in south of France. Before the birds flying over the Mediterranean, they're doing this exercise. Amazing, amazing. And I was thinking how to do this. And that's how to do this. If you see this, here's a fifth element story. But a little bit louder, please. This is robots. It will be James Bond movie music by robots. the end of it. So the aim of our team is to make a device where you can fly anytime, anywhere, and that's another part of freedom. When we got a mobile phone, we got a super freedom. Now we can do anything from every cafe, you can call any car. This is very cool and amazing, and we don't realize how cool is it. This is the next type of freedom when we can transport ourselves. I'm bringing you back to this little situation. Try to imagine for yourself on your place what you can do like this. What you can do as an innovation, not modernization, because every day we are going to work and doing our Toyota. I was doing Toyota 20 years, and I fed up with it because it's just another car in the traffic jam. You know, so any new car you see in the shop, it's just another car in the traffic jam. So my breakthrough and my happiness and my, attitude to life changed. So we are going this direction, and basically we are creating our little world, and we want to see it this way. Thank you very much.